Toyota just revealed a brand new car and people are really excited about it. But there could be one huge problem. Over the past few years, Toyota's been making a lot of shocking changes. Some of them are really good, but for a lot of other vehicles like the Tundra, things have gone terribly wrong. The first mistake was when Toyota switched from using their super reliable V8 engines in their trucks and SUVs to a new V6 turbo setup that just has a lot of issues. But then all of a sudden, Toyota had a huge win. The new Prius was an instant hit for the brand and the response was pure excitement. Then there was another huge fail with the Toyota Supra. It was a new Toyota that was not really a Toyota, but a BMW with a Toyota body tossed on top of it. But despite some of these recent failures, Toyota just really knocked it out of the park by revealing a brand new car that pretty much set the whole internet on fire. So in this video, we're going to talk about everything Toyota has done wrong over the past few years, what they actually got right, and how this new car will pretty much change everything for one of Japan's top automotive manufacturers. But first, we got to talk about one of the biggest failures of Toyota in the past year, actually two of them. And that first one is the newer Toyota Tundra. The previous generation of the Toyota Tundra used to run on a very super reliable V8 engine that pretty much with regular maintenance would last you forever. And this engine would last so long that Toyota actually bought a truck from someone who had put 1 million miles on their original engine without it being rebuilt. However, with the new Tundra, this just isn't the case. And the reliability of the new Tundra has actually caused Toyota to go down in the rankings to where they're no longer the most reliable vehicle that you can buy anymore. And actually, Subaru beat them out. Of all things, Subaru beat Toyota in reliability. And it's not just the Tundra causing these reliability issues. Unfortunately, the new Tacoma has quite a few problems as well. But we got to go back to the Tundra because if you haven't heard, a few months ago, the twin-turbo V6 actually had a recall of over 100,000 of these trucks, where a good portions of these engines underneath this hood were just blowing out. They pretty much had huge catastrophic failures while people were driving and left a lot of customers stranded on the side of the road. Now, Toyota was really fast to act on this and pretty much is giving a new engine to every single one of these owners that bought one of these Tundras. So while there are some issues with the new Tundra, Toyota is going to make it right, and I do think in the future that all this stuff will be ironed out. They're just in a weird transitional phase right now, I think. But the issue with the Tacoma so far hasn't been with the engine under the hood. Again, they switched from the reliable 6-cylinder engines that were pretty much bulletproof and could last forever, and now have a turbo 4-cylinder inside of these. But what's different about this Tacoma is the 4-cylinder was being used in other vehicles before it was thrown in this truck. And it's also being used in this new Land Cruiser as well. But most of the issues with the Tacoma have been with like the differential braking or transmission issues and just a little things here and there kind of creeping up, but nothing major like a complete engine failure. But another problem with the Tundra is the price. These are getting really expensive and a lot of people just can't afford them, so they sit on lots for quite a while. Now, some of these you can find under $60,000 like this right here. This is a black lower trim level SR5, but it does have a TRD package added to it, which does make the price over a normal SR5 a little bit higher. But the MSRP of this one is $57,927, and the dealer added a few things, bringing it to $60,322. But they do go up from there quite significantly. This white one, also an SR5, ends up being $67,476. And this fancy TRD trimmed 1794 edition ends up being $75,000 after these dealer add-ons. However, obviously being a smaller truck, the Tacoma is cheaper. Something like the silver SR5 here is going to run you about $42,688 before any dealer add-ons, bringing it to $45,162. And I do suggest finding a dealer that really doesn't put add-ons, or they don't put add-ons unless you request it. That just brings the price down. And the only thing necessary that I think in any of these add-ons would be window tint, especially if you live somewhere hot where there's a lot of sun. That's pretty much the only add-on that I can agree with. But they do have packages that are a little bit cheaper than the one you just saw, like this blue one here. That's around $39,230. And that price is several $1,000s more than what the outgoing Toyota Tacoma was. So a lot of people just aren't rushing to buy this. It's not flying off the shelves like they used to. And it's one of the slower selling vehicles for Toyota, when you think that really wouldn't be the case. But price is a factor in that. And also people are just questioning the reliability of the new engines. Now let's get into a few things that Toyota is doing right, and then we'll talk about that new car that they just revealed. And that is the new Toyota Land Cruiser. And despite the engine issues that that people talk about and they're questioning the turbo hybrid. Everything else about this new Land Cruiser, or in some other countries, Prado, but it doesn't matter. We have a Land Cruiser nameplate in the USA again. And for once, I am really, really excited about it because I actually used to have a couple of 80 series Land Cruisers and I think they were just awesome vehicles. Now, this one is way softer than the previous outgoing 80 series, but obviously the 80 series is a 90s vehicle and there's been a lot of innovation since then. But as far as looks goes with the new Land Cruiser, I think Toyota totally knocked it out of the park. This is one of the best looking SUVs that you can buy right now. And it's not as cookie cutter as every SUV that you see on the road. It actually has some things that make it stand out. And one of those things is the headlights. If you get a certain version, you can get some of the retro looking headlights, which I think are really cool and a throwback to some of the older versions. Whenever I hear a car salesman tell me why their truck is worth $10,000 over MSRP, I actually don't have to listen to them thanks to today's sponsor, and that's Raycon. Their everyday earbuds deliver high quality audio, a ridiculous 32 hours of battery life, an ergonomic design that comfortably fits the widest range of ears. Plus, these are extremely high quality and very affordable. Raycon's everyday earbuds also come with active noise cancellation, which I think is pretty cool. And it's a feature that's a must-have for me when I'm trying to stay focused. I've been using these Raycon earbuds for the past few days, and they're really perfect for using while working on your car in the garage, watching YouTube videos, walking the dog, and just about anything else that you can think of. I've also really been liking their protective case covers, and these come in so many different designs. And of course I got the yellow because it just matches my Jeep. And not only do these earbuds look really great, they also support wireless charging. So if you want a pair of these Raycon earbuds, which I highly recommend, go to buyraycon.com/motorfeed today to get up to 20% off site-wide. That's right, you'll get up to 20% off everything on Raycon's website when you go to buyraycon.com/motorfeed. Thanks to Raycon for supporting this channel. Let's get back to the video. And I like how the roofline just stays pretty flat all the way across the top, and there's nothing too dramatic around the sides that make it try to be, too fancy, edgy, or modern. It keeps a classic look while still being new at the same time. And honestly, the front end kind of looks like the old FJ Cruiser, which I used to have an FJ Cruiser, but basically like an extended four-door version of that, just in my opinion. So the new Land Cruiser, Toyota totally knocked it out of the park. I think it's a really cool looking vehicle, and it's cheaper than the outgoing V8 Land Cruiser. This one right here is $59,188, and this one here is $61,876. Now, by no means is that cheap at all. It's running into the mid-range prices of a lot of these new SUVs, and honestly, I think some of the reasons people might be a little hesitant to buy it is, again, that four-cylinder engine. If it had a V8, obviously it'd probably be flying off the shelves, but it would be even more expensive in line with the older Land Cruiser that this one just took the place of. And the reason that one sold slower is because they were like 80, 90, 100 grand, and most people didn't want to spend that much on a Toyota. Now, one thing at Toyota that I thought was really weird that we have to talk about while I'm here, because I just saw one, and actually a good trim level that might make what I call the ugly Toyota somewhat decent to look at, and that is the Toyota Crown. This is kind of like the ugly stepchild that Toyota really doesn't know what it is, and honestly, I don't know if it's a car, it's an SUV, crossover, or whatever it is. It's just kind of a weird looking car, but there are colors and trims that make it look even weirder. Like sometimes this whole section right here will be black all the way across the back, but with that painted, I think it actually looks pretty decent because the lines on the back are pretty nice. But it is a bit pricey when it comes to buying a car from Toyota. This particular one is $56,869. But you know what Toyota is not expensive? This pretty sick 2025 Corolla hatchback, which I think honestly looks really, really good. It's a super reliable Toyota that will pretty much last you forever, and it's not expensive. Honestly, I thought this was gonna be in a $40,000 range, but it's way less than that. This is a 2025 Corolla hatchback in Blue Crush with an MSRP of $29,561. And to be honest, it's really hard to find any vehicle under 40,000 nowadays, let alone finding something under 30 grand. A lot of people were talking about where's the $25,000 cars. Well, this one is almost as close as you can get at $29,000, which is not far off. Because right next to it is this Corolla Cross, and this one is $28,000. But honestly, for $1,000 more, that's the one to get. Okay, we've got one more car to look at before we talk about Toyota's new car that they just revealed. And this is one that a lot of people love, and the reviewers have been raving about it. And obviously, as you can see, it is the new Toyota Camry, which I think Toyota did just a really, really good job designing this car. I think this is the one of the best designs of the Toyota Camry that I have seen them do. I mean, and in this color, I think it just is a really good looking car, and you can't stop staring at it. And there's one more Toyota that I want to show you real quick. We'll get a sneak peek of it because they just got it in. That I think they really crushed it on the design, but I can't give you a tour of it yet, but maybe soon. That's going to be the new 4Runner, and there's one here in that really, really pretty blue color, and they're showing it to customers right now. But now it's finally time to talk about the new Toyota car that was just revealed. Over the past few weeks, rumors have been going around that Toyota could be bringing back the Celica after it's been out of production for 20 years. And as of just a few days ago, it was confirmed true by someone at Toyota. Last year during an interview, Toyota chairman Akio Toyoda outright stated, "I want to revive the Celica." Then a few weeks later, a magazine, Best Car, asked the manufacturer's chief technical officer, Hiroki Nakajima, the question, and his response kind of shocked everybody. Basically, he straight up said, "We're going to be making the Celica." However, it will be quite a while before the new Celica becomes a reality. Adding further fuel to the Celica fire, back in 2024, Toyota trademarked the Celica name with the US Patent Office. As for the engine and design, Toyota will more than likely put their 2-liter turbo engine that produces around 395 horsepower. As for how this thing will look, the only thing right now we have are just a few random renders and something called the FTSE concept. Now, one big question I do have about this new Celica is where does it fit in with the lineup of Toyota's current sports cars? They already have 3. They've got the new Supra, they've got the GR86, and they have the GR Corolla. And I feel like these 3 vehicles already cover pretty much the whole spectrum of sports cars that people would want to buy. So how does the Celica fit in there, not only size-wise, but power and price? So do they even have room for another sports car? Another thing I find interesting is how all the Japanese car brands are still coming out with new, interesting, and less expensive sports cars. Toyota has the Supra, GR Corolla, and GT86. Nissan has the new Z. Mazda keeps cranking out Miatas, and even Honda is killing it with the new Civic Si. But American companies like Ford and Dodge, and yes, even Chevy, I feel like are slowly destroying their sports cars. The Chevy Camaro is pretty much completely canceled. The Dodge Challengers and Chargers with the V8 engines that everyone wants are pretty much dead. The Mustang is still carrying on, but the prices are really high, and not everyone likes the new design or the screens inside of the interior. Obviously, even though the Camaro is dead, Chevy still does make the Corvette, but that is at a higher price point than what like these mid-range Toyotas and Zs and stuff are selling for. And the new one that came out that beat all the track records is over $200,000. And again, Ford still does make the Mustang, but prices have gone way, way up on the V8 versions of these cars. And this is actually a random spot that I found at this Honda dealer. This is the new Dark Horse Mustang. As you can see, it's got the Trofeo RS tires, it's got the wing on the back as well, and the Dark Horse logo. So it's just kind of random to see this at a Honda dealer. And then there's also a random spot at a Honda dealer, the outgoing SRT Hellcat. But as far as the new Challenger, nobody wants that crap. They want the V8. They don't want all the electric stuff that's being pushed. It's just total garbage, and it's overpriced. And as far as the American car companies go, you know, in relation to competing with Honda, Toyota, Mazda on their sports cars, I want to show you what us Americans want in a muscle car. And it's something like this, parked right here in front of a Honda dealer. Funny enough, this Honda dealer has a lot of cool used cars, but this is the GT500. And honestly, I like this better than the Dark Horse Mustang. I think it's way cooler looking, honestly, way better looking. The Dark Horse is like 85 grand, something like that. But this 2020 model is $69,984. And the mileage isn't too crazy on it. And higher mileage on a sports car usually means they probably did a lot of highway driving. This one has 40,263 miles. And one perk of this Mustang that I like is this body style. I personally think this body style is just way better than the new one. You can argue with me on that all day long, but honestly, I think you would agree. So when it comes to new muscle cars, why would you buy the new Dark Horse when you could get something like this GT500 for less money, just slightly used? Peak Mustang right here. I don't think it's gets much better than this. But that's pretty much going to do it for this video. Do you think the new Celica is going to be a pretty cool car? Are you excited about it? And do you think the American muscle car brands can actually compete with all the JDM manufacturers when it comes to sports cars, especially the prices, bang for your buck? Anyways, if you made it this far in the video, please like it so more people can see it. Subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you in the next one.